So when I was 18, I bought an iPod. And one day when I was looking for music to load up on that thing through totally only legal non-pirating sources, I discovered a whole new type of media called a podcast, and I was blown away. It wasn't quite a radio show, but it kind of was. It was like NPR suddenly got mixed up with the internet, and I was hooked. So today we're going to be talking about what we love about podcasts, some of our favorite podcasts that we enjoy listening to, as well as breaking down our first couple of episodes, which means we're going to be going over that very rough first episode and the Hudson Hawk film breakdown that followed immediately after. Analyzing ourselves is not always fun, but we're going to be doing it for your entertainment, so I hope you're entertained.
Hello, and welcome to the first episode of This Is Podcast Show. So, we're going to be doing things a little bit different here on the YouTube side. We're actually going to be breaking down our episodes that we do on the podcast side, mainly for your entertainment to see how goofy it was. And we're going to be starting from the beginning, and you'll get to hear a little behind the scenes stuff. And we'll be doing this on a weekly basis, and this will be the new show and the new side of our YouTube channel.
Yep. We're going to try to bring you some exclusive content over here on YouTube that you really wouldn't be able to get anywhere else, but also trying to break down the stuff that we're doing on the podcast so you can stay up to date.
Boom. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and check us out anywhere that you get podcasts. I mean, anywhere.
And if they have it available, leave us a 5-star review.
Yes, definitely. And comments, please. Please. We are definitely looking to build the community and be able to interact with everybody, which, oh man, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I want to give you guys what you want, so please let us know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have ideas for albums, movies, old games, I mean, anything, anything, we'll definitely throw it in there. So let's go ahead and get into This Is Podcast Show. So, what are some of the podcasts that you listen to? I mean, obviously besides ours.
Well, I mean, I enjoy a good mix of things. So before we get started, let me just say these are not official endorsements. We're not affiliated with these people in any way. This is just the stuff
That we listen to before we even made a podcast. This is some of the reasons why we made a podcast. So,
yeah, some of the stuff that just keeps us entertained in our free time.
yeah.
So I really like sports podcasts. So I listen to a lot of the Locked On Network, like Locked On Jazz, Locked On NBA, Ryan Russillo, the No Dunks crew. I also listen to uh, it- the rights to Ricky Sanchez. Some of these are sports shows that get really get really weird, and they don't always do sports stuff. I love the Mr. Ballin podcast just because I always
Oh, yeah,
love the Mr. Ballin
Mr. Ballin's
YouTube channel.
Mr. Bond's great.
And then like the Office Ladies. I listen to
Um,
Office Ladies.
so I listen. I won't throw their name out there. I don't know, just because I mean they're really amazing guys. They're three Irish lads that do uh, old school wrestling. If you like any type of wrestling stuff like that, go check them out. They're the only three Irish dudes that do wrestling. So, um, also like obviously like Joe Rogan. Freaking, I like a lot of Joe Rogan's podcasts.
I actually forgot about Joe Rogan because he went Spotify only.
Yeah, I mean we're on Spotify. Um, yeah, I mean Joe. I listened to one. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. So it's like it actually is a radio show. It's called Coast to Coast AM with I don't know.
Oh, George Norrie.
Yeah, and
I love Coast to
Art
Coast
Bell was
AM.
originally the host. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did podcast form. God, quite a few years ago. You can get all the episodes, even back when Art Bell was hosting and all that. It's super cool because you can look it all up.
That's where I had my first ASMR experience.
Ah, nice.
And it was this wait, maybe it wasn't on there. But anyway, I don't remember. It's this historian. His name's Neil. Funny enough, his name's Neil Story.
Neil
And he's
Story.
really good at telling stories. But it's Storey, and he wrote a book about how he thinks Bram Stoker knew who Jack the Ripper was, and that's why he wrote Dracula. But
Bum bum bum.
interesting dude, and he just gave me the tinglies all over my scalp.
Yeah, I mean, so if you had to pick, like, what was one main thing that inspired you to start this podcast
It was a place
with
where
me?
people could say fuck.
What the fuck?
No, I'm just
Go
I'm
fuck
joking.
yourself.
I'm joking, but
Listen,
I do kind of mean it. It's a place where you can just
I mean,
you can
kind of.
say whatever you want, you can talk about whatever you want, you can be creative, and
I mean,
chances are there's somebody out there that wants to maybe hear it or listen.
I mean, obviously there is. There's been some. Obviously, we got listens. Hopefully, you guys keep listening, keep tuning in. Um, our content's just going to get better. We have awesome shows planned for you. Besides this show dropping, we'll have another playlist of shows that'll be just YouTube content. You won't get it on the podcast side. You won't get it on Facebook. You won't get it anywhere else. It'll just be here for YouTube.
We're going to
And
do a breakdown of all of the outfits worn by the royal family at the Queen's funeral, and it gets mean, folks. Just kidding.
we are not fucking doing that. What we will do, what we fucking will do, is a great breakdown of Mario 2. Um, it's already been recorded. It's in the pipeline. Should drop shortly after this show. I honestly, we recorded it first. I just wanted to drop this show first for you, context and all that. You know.
I think there's a movie breakdown coming real soon as well.
Yes. If you check out the Facebook page, there's a few hints of what that movie might be. We'd love to hear it if you figure it out, what you might think. Also, an album review. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. um, there's also an album review coming very shortly on the podcast side. And the movie will just be podcast side. But we'll definitely break it down here. So we're probably gonna do 2 episodes of the podcast for every like one episode of this, and then maybe like some bonuses thrown in here for the main show.
I'm going to try to throw some quickies out there. I'm going to try to keep you guys updated on what's going on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. That's something I got to be more on top of.
So stay tuned for Matt's Pro Disc Golf Update.
Extra,
So
extra.
extra, extra. Um, for me, like I said, the the three Irish lads that do a wrestling podcast, um, they're amazing, and seeing what they did just from their love of wrestling and all that.
They do create some really hilarious stuff.
Um,
I got introduced to them through Paul,
yeah.
but
So
they're awesome.
yeah, I mean, they crack me up, and I mean, they got me through a lot of hard times when I was really depressed and feeling down. Sometimes, like just throwing them on and listening to what they do, and like, and then watching them also on YouTube and see what they do. Like, it's amazing, and it made me want to be able to talk and interact with people the same way that they do.
That was something that I also really enjoyed about just the podcast as I guess like a medium or genre or type of show is it was completely unrestricted. People could record literally anything they wanted. There are
Oh yeah,
podcasts out there that are
every
just
thought.
radio shows like with characters, people playing character like an old school radio
Oh
drama.
yeah, there's podcasts that
Welcome,
are D
what is
and
it?
D
Night
games.
Vale? Welcome to Night Vale or
Yeah, there's podcasts that are just D&D games, which is insane. Like you get people that are playing full on role playing characters, which is absolutely amazing. I love it.
I listened to an entire radio show. It was a podcast
Radio show.
called Hunt the Truth, and it was just for all you Halo nerds out there. I don't know if you guys remember this one, but it was Keegan Michael Key, the one half of Key and Peele,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
and he was like a reporter that was trying to figure out
yeah.
why Master Chief was being framed for something, for some act of terrorism. I forget what it is. I
Yeah.
haven't played those games in a long time. But
Alrighty, well, moving on. So the first episode was, ooh man, it was a rough one. Um,
we did not know
what in the
what we were doing.
fuck we were doing?
Come at me.
Um, so Matt,
It's a lot more complicated than you think.
um, I think we overcomplicated some things, and then we just not knowing a lot of things. So when we came into it, it was really like touch and go. Like, oh, we figured this out,
Well,
but we got to
like
do this now.
this was a wire hanger connected to a tissue box. That's what was holding
Well,
holding up my first mic.
yeah, and the mics were USB,
They were USB.
both USB. It was
Anybody out there that's tried to record, you know if you can name what the issue with USB mics are in the comments, we'll pin you at the top. First person to get it right.
boom, top fan. Um, so that was a huge problem. And then software issues, figuring out, geez, even little things, figuring out like where me and Matt should sit. Like, should we sit? Should I sit his ass over there? Should I sit over here? Should there be stuff in between us?
How do we make sure my mic isn't picking up his voice too much and his mic isn't picking up my voice too much? But then it turns out that's more of just an issue with having shitty mics.
And not necessarily shitty mics, just mics that wasn't for
A shitty mic setup.
Yeah, yeah, like wasn't what for what we were trying to do.
Once you have the correct one,
So, and that's the thing is like that. I mean, so that we had to start somewhere. And so, if you go and listen to the first episode,
it's brutal.
for one, thank you.
And I apologize.
One day, I'll talk to somebody and I'll get it re-edited, and maybe I'll fix it. But for now,
well, funny enough, that actually wasn't the first episode.
Boom. Oh man. So the first episode is gone to the ether forever.
Something happened.
My little doggy decided that he had enough of me and Matt podcasting and bumped a wall outlet that has a problem and deleted everything.
Yeah. And that was what, a good 40 minutes, 45 minutes?
Yeah, a good.
We broke down the Rudy Gobert trade because it had just happened.
Man, so many things. Like we had gone through all this stuff that we thought was so cool. Really, it probably wasn't. Looking back,
turns out most people don't want to hear.
Don't give a shit about what we think about sports.
That stuff. We want to give you guys what you want. Turns out it's disc golf. You like the Hudson Hawk breakdown. Any place where we make asses of ourselves.
Oh, Superman sucks. Superman sucks seemed to go over pretty good.
Seemed to go over pretty well.
If you haven't heard it yet, go check it out. That's probably one of my favorite episodes. I think my favorite episode still is Health and Wellness with our one of our best friend Jeremy, our only guest so far. So far, that'll change very shortly.
Oh, what do you have planned? Is somebody going to be joining us soon?
Yes, very soon.
Interesting.
Check it out on the podcast side. I'll let you guys all know.
What time of year is it? We're coming up on everybody's drinking pumpkin spice lattes. We're coming up on Halloween, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a thrill.
What year were you born, Paul?
1984.
Interestingly enough, there was an album released in 1984 that a lot of people would rate as the number one selling album of all time.
If you know what it is, let us know.
You might be onto something too if you know what that is.
Yeah, so the first show, I mean, we really didn't know.
Jinx, motherfucker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So we really didn't
try
know.
To stop me.
Boom. That's how I roll. So I mean, the first show we didn't really know like what we were gonna do for as far as shows or like what we actually wanted to talk about. We knew like we enjoyed talking about stuff, so we try to break down a few things.
Well, we feel like we're good at talking about stuff. Stuff is what we enjoy talking about. We've had dumb conversations that have gone like super deep, like.
And that was supposed to be the point of the first show, but I think it was either during that first show or very shortly after that we realized, hey man, we should probably put together a plan and like have a topic.
Make sure we have
some
something
things and like some substance to stuff.
Well, I feel like what's fun about having a conversation is if you make it, it's almost like a game or like a debate. It's like a challenge. It's like, hey, your goal is to talk about X, but you're not allowed to reference what, like the Hollywood Boys Stable.
Oh man,
right? That's fun. Oh, I bumped it. That's fun because we get to talk about actors and whether or not we believe they are, in fact,
A boy.
a boy.
Um, if you listen to the podcast, you'll get the references too. So go check out the podcast. Um, that'll be a podcast thing. You have to go check that out.
We might have to stop calling it the Hollywood Boys Stable because that is sort of a ripoff of some of our most admired
Yeah.
podcast and YouTube creators.
So,
But we'll come up with our own
well,
thing.
yeah,
Just give us some
give us
time.
some time. We're working on
That's
it.
the working name for it is the Hollywood Boys Stable. It's a tribute.
And really,
We're paying homage.
and so far there's only one boy in my stable, and it's
Chris
fucking Chris
Hemsworth.
Hemsworth. Actually, you know what? On this show, I was gonna induct another one.
Oh, who is it?
Pauly Shore,
Is Pauly Shore a boy?
or is he?
He
Is he
had
too popular?
he was like the
But I mean,
king
he's
at
not
one
more
point.
popular than Chris Hemsworth ever was.
It's not popular.
But he made his
it's
movies were funny to me.
it's solo success, and Pauly Shore had some solo success.
Oh, in the '90s, he was huge.
Yeah, he was way huge. Encino Man, Biodome, Son-in-Law was
Oh, Son-in-Law was probably my
Son-in-Law was
favorite out of all of
massive.
them, actually.
I'm all out of vodka is fucking hilarious. I need to borrow a screwdriver. I'm all out of vodka. That's one of the best lines.
Oh yeah, dude. So the first show is wow. From there it got better.
It sounds like we're recording inside one of those aluminum sheds that you buy at like a home improvement store.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's two of Matt, and one of them knows what he's gonna say before he says it.
It is a little weird at times.
It's a little weird. So, um, episode 2 got a little bit better. We still weren't using uh, this mic setup or anything. So that, but I was able to edit that one a little bit better because I was a little bit better at editing.
Yeah, episode 2 was the Hudson Hawk breakdown, right?
Oh yeah, and Hudson Hawk was so freaking fun, man. So fun. Our first movie review, we had no real idea like how do you do a movie review? Like,
I think we
um,
did pretty good.
I okay. I I love Hudson Hawk, and I go back and I'll listen to us talk about Hudson Hawk just because I'm a geek.
It's such a weird movie. Um, just to do a quick recap, it basically got made because Bruce Willis wanted to play 007, and they wouldn't let him. And he had written a song that he couldn't let go of. So he got a hold of some people, and they made it into a movie.
Yeah. The whole show, man. I remember watching it so much as a kid, and then being
It's
blown away as an adult. Like some of the stuff that I just either neglected to see or did not pick up on as a kid. So it was like, ooh, what the hell?
I'm sure it's easy for a lot of it to go over a kid's head. It's a very cartoony show at times. We get into
Mixed
it in a
in with like heavily violent overtones on occasion. You're like, what the fuck?
it really has a hard time deciding what kind of a film it wants to be. We get into it in a ton of detail
Oh,
in
a ton
episode
of
2.
detail.
If you guys want to hear that one, you should definitely go check it out.
And like in a little behind the scenes on that, geez, that episode we planned on doing like 35, 40 minutes, and it ended up, I don't, what is it?
It's like way longer than
It's like
that.
an hour and
It's
20
like an hour
minutes,
and 20
28 minutes, yeah, something like that.
It's a
with-
road trip. Listen, if you got a road trip planned, if you have a long commute and you ride the train, something like that,
Yeah, yeah, check it out then. Cool.
cue it up, and give it a listen.
Or if you got like a morning and an evening, break it up into a couple parts.
It's worth the listen though. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, go watch the show, then give us a listen. That would be even better too if you haven't seen it. Or or just listen to us and don't watch it. Actually,
Dude, I saw the new Top Gun movie finally.
is it good?
I thought it was all right.
I think we talk about the Top Gun movie in
They
the
finally switched
in the
calling
first
them
podcast.
bogeys to bandits, which is what they're supposed to call them.
Really?
I mean, if you're going to be correct, technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. Yeah, you wouldn't refer to an enemy aircraft as a bogey. Holler at me, am I wrong? Let me know. What do you guys think? What are some of your favorite podcasts? Let us know
Let
in
us
the
know,
comment
yeah,
section or
well-
other YouTube channels. We can try to shout them out. We can try to maybe even check out their
Yeah, like let us know some other creators and stuff that we should definitely check out on the podcast side or on YouTube or anything, we'll definitely give them a check out. Especially if you think that they'll like inspire us to do better.
Yeah, it's always fun to hear what other people are doing. It kind of gives you ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down to try. I mean, if you have ideas even on how we could shoot things better, to record things better, different lighting, like all that stuff, let us know. I'm open for every type of interaction.
This is something that we're new to, but we would very much like to be good at it.
Yeah,
So if anybody's got
imagine that.
ideas for how we could be good at it, definitely holler at us in the comments. Holler at us at email. It's this is podcast 2022 at gmail.com.
Also, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter.
Twitter. And remember to check us out anywhere that you get your podcast, or you can go straight to our distributor, rss.com. Look us up on there. And obviously, if you're watching this, look up more of our content on YouTube. So for Paul LeClaire and Maddie Quick, I think this is going to be it for our first episode. We hope to see you around.